What is the notion people have of you and your colleagues, Dr. Nimancho? They're talking about the intellectuals. When you go around, you are called doctors, professors. When there are occasions, you guys are the ones occupying the biggest seats now. Very honorable.
Yeah, but I think that those who think that they should honor some of us who are doctors, it is from the ignorance position.
Okay.
Because there is a saying that the more learned you become, the more humble you should be. That is how it is. And when we say the more humble you should be, humility comes with service. And therefore, you must be serviceable to the society. And that is why you find that those who have gone study so far, usually they are so down to earth. And what actually keeps them going and make their name is service to the society. But then sometimes I would like us to get to the topic of actually who is an intellectual, because it is also a topic of education to the people in the community. Who is an intellectual? And we have to deal with this topic in context, because to say generally that this person is an intellectual sometimes is usually very tricky. Because from the humanist point of view, everybody is an intellectual. From the humanist point of view, everybody is an intellectual. But then there is another category of intellectual. Now, getting more specific, we call them the Marxian intellectuals. And we know when we talk about the Marx, we are talking about a person like Karl Marx, who came out with the theory of production between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. So, and here we are talking about those who do the production. We call them the Marxian intellectuals, because you cannot produce when you don't have the knowledge to do that. But I would like to concentrate more on the second category of intellectual, which is deals with the intelligentsia. And I know that this is where you are referring to me here. It deals with the intelligentsia, and intelligentsia deals with what? With education. It deals with education, institutionally and didactically educated person. You know, the person who has formally gone to school and gotten formal training. And when we talk about autodidact here, I'm also talking about those who have done self-training. The other day, I watched a very brilliant program here. You work with a gentleman who has not even gone to school, but who was able to produce a lot of things for the community. That's autodidact. That he did self-training, and he is able to reach where he is. So here with intelligentsia, we are looking at writers, we are looking at scientists, we are looking at economics, we are looking at musicians, we are even looking at clergymen, because it falls under the group of intelligentsia. And these have expert knowledge. They have expert knowledge and exceptional capacity, and are critically reflective. So these people who have gone to school, they've gathered the knowledge, and so they are supposed to take over reflection of society in their different domains, in their respective domains. So these are the people that we refer to, and I'm sure this is the crux, or this is actually what we are discussing this evening. We are discussing the intelligentsia, and that what are they offering to the society. And I think that their ideas of intelligentsia should induce change. It is supposed to induce change in our society. So their capacity, what they have learned in school, they don't learn to keep. They learn in order to share, in order to serve the community. Nobody go to school to come and keep the knowledge within himself. So usually I say that there is no successful person without a successor, because if you learn and you go to school, you are a celebrated person. You go to school, you come back, and you put your services to the society, and there is no continuity of that service, means that you have failed even as an educated person. And therefore we actually all have to put all of these things in context. And I want to give an example of how selfless somebody has worked, like we're talking about in the context of Africa. I want to look at Kenneth David Kaunda of Zambia, who actually ruled Zambia for 24 years. But when he left power after 24 years, he had $8,000 in his account. I mean, this is unheard of in the African context, that a president rules, and when he leaves power, I mean, he is audited and he has just $8,000 in the account. I mean, this is like chicken change for some of us, for some politicians in the African milieu. So you see that this is an intelligent person. He has gone to school and he knows that the services, what he has learned in school is to serve the community selflessly and not to enrich himself. And we can put up the list of most of these people. You know Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, who also came out, and even the Catholics have been vying that they have to make him a saint, because that president, the first president of Tanzania, who left a very big mark in Tanzania. And I think that these are the kinds of people we talk about intellectuals. We don't talk about intellectuals by people who Bible, or who dictionaries and go around the place and speak big grammar, blow up grammars for people to hear. Intelligent people are people who are selfless. I call them pelicans. Those people who can wound themselves to feed their young. If you are in economics, you'll be able to devise and advise the country, work in such a way that you can be able to predict and tell the government or tell your community. And sometimes we only think about intellectuals in terms of those who are working in government. Or sometimes there are two words, intellectuals and elite. These two words are conflict, and people, when you say an intellectual or an elite, they think that you are somebody who is very, very high there, and they think that these are people who live in a town setting. Now, how can they deal all of these people? You've gone to school. At least going to school means that you at least have the basic knowledge of make a society better. And how do you make a society better? If you clean the frontage of your house, and my neighbor, Apostle Ambe, cleans the front of his house, and Dr. Richard cleans the front of his house, you are giving back to the society. If you solve a problem within your household, another person who has gone to school solves a problem in his household, you are bringing in development. You don't think that you can only bring development when you are appointed, because even appointment in Cameroon, appointment in Africa is like winning a lottery, because when you are appointed, it is as if you have been given a license to be able to take bribery, to corrupt, and you go free. So I think that people should understand that, and that's why you find that most people who go to school think that they have to go into the public service, because they get to the public service, they are waiting for appointment. To be appointed, when they are appointed, now they are able to have their own fair share. That is not the issue. Intellectuals are supposed to solve a problem. And when you go to school, you are going to school to solve a problem in the society. If you are not able to solve any problem in society, you have, like someone has done agriculture, and you have a common problem of food insufficiency in your local area. People produce maize, and you know that this is maize that is utterly fed, that grows in your area, and you are not able to advise your people on how to better mechanize or better produce this maize in your area, or you produce cassava, for example, and you're not able to advise your people on how well they can produce and make and empower your community to be able to export or to sell this to people, to buyers, means that you are not an intelligent people. You don't gain knowledge to come and keep within yourself. You gain knowledge in order to expose it. It's like you go to an agri show. What you win at agri show is because of what you bring. Of course, of what you have sowed, what you have grown in your farm. And I think that is how knowledge is. Knowledge is demonstrated. Knowledge is showed. Knowledge is incarnated. Knowledge is not kept in within oneself.